All right, guys, welcome to your first knife skills lab. Today we're going to work on cutting carrots into half-inch cuts, and we're going to do onions. So hopefully you guys were able to get carrots by now. This is a very large, it's called a horse carrot. You'll kind of find once you start doing this that the larger the carrot, the easier it is. I found these carrots at Seatown here in Holyoke, if that's something that you're looking to find. My station is already set up, so I have my chef knife, I have a peeler, I have my side towel, I have a place to put my trash, and I also have a landing spot for my cuts. Now, I'm in a professional kitchen. I am currently on campus, but if you guys are at home, you guys can easily do this with plates, sheet trays, cookie sheets, whatever you guys have, and we can make it work. So let's get started. So again, I have a very large carrot. There's a little bit of a misshapen form, but we can work around it. What we're working on are called precision cuts. And precision cuts are important because it makes things cook evenly. So if I were to be making a stew, if I was making anything like that, if I cut all the vegetables that about the same size, they will cook more evenly. And it also just makes for a better presentation. So for the first step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the carrot. And what I like to do is I like to move my trash receptacle closer. So this is my garbage bowl. So this could be a bowl, this could be another sheet tray, whatever. It's a good habit to have this when you're cooking because it just saves you steps. So you don't have to keep running to the trash. If I was to be running to the trash, that means I'm wasting time and I'm wasting energy. And in the kitchen, it's all about efficiency. So I'm just going to start peeling my carrot. These peels can be saved for compost. They can also be saved. Some people use them in their chicken stocks. So any scraps that we have today, we're going to save these because we'll use them in a later. We can freeze them or keep them in the refrigerator, and we'll save them for another week where we're making chicken stock. So nothing goes to waste. All right. So now this can move back, and now I have a peeled carrot ready to go. So for our cuts, we're going to focus on trying to get 2 inches in length to start, and then half-inch cubes in sticks. So what we like to do, so if you were on campus, we kind of issue everybody the same knife, but I don't actually know how wide your knives are. Because usually we can kind of guess that this is about a little less than 2 inches, and the cut we're going for is 2 inches by half inch by half inch. So I can kind of lay this next to my carrot and kind of estimate how much 2 inches is, and then I'm going to cut into a 2-inch chunk. So I lay my knife out. So if you don't have that, I have on the equipment list a small ruler, and you can use a ruler to try to guess. Not to guess, but to actually measure what 2 inches is. So I'm going to keep going. So now I have this little nub. It's not 2 inches. If I was going to be dicing, I can continue to use this, but first we're going to go cut into sticks, what are called batons. So I'm going to put this into my scrap pile for now. So now I have 3 chunks of carrot. But this right now is kind of wobbly. It's kind of unsafe, unsteady. So the first thing you want to do is you want to flatten one edge. So I'm just going to cut it down. So now I have a nice steady piece to work with. And again, this scrap just goes into your garbage bowl. So now what I'm going to do, so this is a kind of the shape of what, a D. What we need is to make sure that we're going to square this off, so then it's easier to measure, and then we'll have all straight sides. So when you're looking up like this, it should be a perfect square. So I'm going to continue to keep cutting what I like to call the cheeks off of the fruit, of the vegetable. And I keep going around and around and around. So now I have these. This is considered waste, but it's not really waste. We'll save that for stock. So now looking above, you can kind of see that I've got more or less a rectangle situation. So what I can do is I can continue to just shave off pieces until I get more of a square. And as you trim things, make sure you're constantly clearing off your board, so then you don't get confused. You can have a clear space and a clear mind. So that's a pretty good square. So right now this is about 1 inch in diameter. So if I need a 1/2 inch, all I have to do is cut this in half. So now I have 2 1/2 inch, what we call planks. See that? So now we have a plank. So now this plank can be cut again in half. Then if we look from above, that's a pretty good square. So if at that point you're looking down and you see that it's more of a rectangle, you can go back and you can kind of perfect it a little bit. So I can trim off if I needed to. And again, this stuff just goes into our compost pile or stock pile, and then you can look up and see if it's a square. So this right here is a baton. So what we're looking, I want to make sure that everything is nicely squared off, and this is a nice cut. And I can continue with each piece. Now I say 1/2 inch sticks, but if you find that I'd rather it be them all be the same. So if we're going to be all kind of on the larger side, let them all be on the larger side. If your visual is a little on the smaller side, as long as I'm looking for more of consistency more than accuracy in the actual measurement. So there you go. So now we have these sticks. So now from here, if I was going to be, again, if I wanted to have a fancier type stew, if I was going to roast these carrots, this is a nice cut. But now let's try to work on, so once you have this, so for your assignment, I want you to take a picture of each cut. So if I was done with these, I would put these onto my sheet tray and be done. And then after you've taken that picture and you have documented, then we can go on and start cutting into dices. And you can continue on with all of these pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and continue to show you how to do it into the dice. So we have a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and then this is 2 inches. So at this point we can now cut this. I'm going to do another 1/2 inch cut. And now we have cubes. And everything would cook at the same time. And you can do one at a time. If you start to get confident, I wouldn't suggest this right now, but you could start doing it. And you have cubes. And that is how to cut a carrot into 1/2 inch cuts.